fool have his throne, then let him have it. It wasn't worth sacrificing any more American lives. For the life of me, I would never figure out why it took 2 atomic bombs to get the Japs to surrender.
It was their fanaticism that got them into trouble with the United States. In the
Yes,
first place.
maybe you're right, but whatever the cause, I'm glad they finally came to their senses.
I've been in contact with John MacArthur. He will oversee the final surrender of John.
That's fine.
I also want to congratulate you on your decision to use the atomic bombs. It was a courageous decision for which you deserve full credit.
The Japs left me no choice. They wouldn't surrender. But what gets me is how some of those scientists who actually built those bombs are now expressing regret that we used them. That bothers me.
Maybe they just don't understand the entire picture, sir.
What's there not to understand? We were at war and we had a means of ending it quickly. I know those bombs killed a lot of people, but they saved a lot of lives too, both American and Japanese. It's just too bad that the Jap leaders were too pig-headed to heed our warnings. And because of that, they have only themselves to blame for their damage and they caused to their own people.
Mr. President, I completely concur.
And besides, why would anyone even bother to question my decision? After all, we won, didn't we?
Mr. President, Mr. and Mrs. DiMartino are here to see you.
DiMartino, Mr. President? I'm not familiar with the name.
Yes, they're the parents of a soldier who was killed on Okinawa. They wrote me a letter, which moved me almost to tears. Isn't that right, Don?
Yes, Mr. President. That is true.
Would you like to hear the letter?
Yes, Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President, we are writing to let you know that we agree with your decision to use the atomic bomb. We know that the decision to use such a horrible weapon must have been a difficult one for you to make, but we believe it was the right thing to do. For a while, it seemed that the war would never end, but after the use of that weapon, the war finally stopped, and for that, we have you to thank. In fact, we wish that you'd used it earlier. It may have saved our son's life. He was killed on Okinawa. We were devastated by the news about our son's death. We are still in a state of shock. As a parent yourself, I'm sure you must understand how we feel. Knowing that our son gave his life in the service of his country provides us a measure of comfort. But his absence has left a huge hole in our lives, leaving us with a feeling of profound emptiness that will not go away. He was our only child and our future. Now all we have left are memories and sad thoughts of what may have been. Sincerely, Sal and Louise DiMartino.
Mr. President, thank you for sharing that letter with me. I am honored.
No problem, Mr. Secretary. They agree that what I did was the right thing to do. Now, if you don't mind, I have to ask you to leave.
Of course, Mr. President.
Please ask Mrs. Truman to join me in the Oval Office and show the DiMartinos in. And for goodness sakes, keep the press out of here until I give you the word.
Yes, Mr. President.
Oh, before I forget, how's Gregory doing? I've been meaning to ask about him, but I've been so busy lately I couldn't get around to it.
He's doing fine, sir. His grandson was finally located in a Jap POW camp. He was in bad shape, but now he's recuperating.
Well, that's a relief. Please convey my best wishes to him and his family. Now it's time to get back to work.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, if you don't mind, may I ask you something?
Go ahead.
What happens if the Russians get a bomb?
That will never happen. Not on my watch.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's very reassuring.
Donald exits. End of scene 9.
August 29, 1949, during President Truman's second term as president, the Soviet Union successfully tests an atomic bomb. The nuclear arms race has begun. At Hiroshima, Yoko Watanabe begins writing a book entitled The Day My Life Changed Forever, recounting her struggles as an atomic bomb survivor. The book becomes an international bestseller, Later, her life becomes a subject for a major dramatic motion picture. She becomes a star.
My friends, I wish to recite a poem. My name is Wananabe. A bomb was dropped on me. It caused a lot of damage. It killed my family.
The right and the wrong, the right and the wrong. Who is to judge what is right and is wrong?
For years I harbored grudges. The bomb sure did its job. It left me scarred and haggard. It made me cringe and sob.
The right and the wrong, the right and the wrong. Who is to judge what is right and is wrong?
But time did bring some healing, so I wrote a book with bold words and stark pictures for those who need to look.
The right and the wrong, the right and the wrong. Who is to judge what is right and is wrong?
The book sold lots of copies and earned me lots of cash, but that gives a little comfort. Every night I see that flash.
The right and the wrong, the right and the wrong. Who is to judge what is right and is wrong?
Truman, Stimson, and Marshall enter. They stand aside looking at Louise and Yoko.
Look, I did what I thought was the right thing to do. It was war.
As a military man, I cannot rightly condone the deaths of civilians. But in total war, such laws are inevitable.
And besides, the Japs did start the war, didn't they?
That's right, gentlemen, they sure did. So, did I do the right thing?
That's a hard question to answer, sir. We did end the war. But were civilians considered legitimate military targets?
General, we didn't make the rules.
But we did make the bomb and used it.
General, I think you're splitting hairs.
I beg to differ, Mr. Secretary. I am speaking plainly and to the point.
So please, tell me, did I do the right thing? Excuse me, miss, maybe you can help me. Did I do the right thing?
I don't know, sir. Only you can answer that question.
Can't you guys help me?
Is there anything I can do, sir?
Yes, there is. Please bring me all the Pepto-Bismol you can find, because I'm going to need it.
The end.